Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhat College, University of Delhi. So in our previous lectures, the topic which we are learning is amortized analysis, and we have seen accounting method as well as aggregate method also. In accounting methods, we have seen couple of examples how to perform that accounting method, and within this lecture, within this talk, we are also going to explore some more examples of the accounting method. So please recall, we have in our aggregate analysis we have seen one example of a binary counter in which the main operation or the only operation we can say is about incrementing that binary counter, and increment operation we need to perform on that particular counter which is starting at 0. So that increment counter is incrementing that increment operation is incrementing the binary counter by 1 with every increment operation. So we have also seen the running time of the operation was proportional to the number of bits flipped. So let us try to recall it completely. First, here on the screen you can see we have a binary counter of 8 bits, and initially it starts, the counter value is 0 and the counter is having all the bits as 0, and so is the total cost. And whenever we say my counter value is 1, that means I have applied one increment operation, and now it comes to having 1 in the 0th index bit or the 0th index cell of the array, and the total cost is 1. And now the next number on applying the increment operation comes to 2, and we have 2 bits changed, which are the last 2 bits, and they become 1 and 0, and the total cost here is actually 3, which is 1 from the previous 1 of cumulative basically. So 1 from the previous increment operation plus 2 for this particular operation, because 2 bits have been flipped. So we can say it is 3 for the 3 is the total cumulative cost till this point of time in the data structure. So the total cost is, or running time we can say, is proportional to the number of bits flipped. So here for our accounting method of amortized analysis, what are we going to do? We will represent each unit of cost by a dollar bill or by a dollar. So basically what are we doing? We are here we are flipping the bits in this binary counter example. So each unit of cost, so basically each bit flipped will be represented by dollar bills. And as far as increment operation is concerned, here is the code of increment operation. We can say initially we have started from 0, which was we can say the initial counter was 0, and till the while I is less than length of a and a of I is equals to 1, what are we going to do? We are going to increment it, and if I is less than length of a, then we will say a of I is equals to 1. So this was a kind of standard code for this increment operation, and we have also explored this code in detail in our previous lectures also. So now directly coming to the accounting method of amortized analysis. So for amortized analysis of this particular data structure, which is binary counter, and it is having one associated operation, that is incrementing. So here we will analyze a sequence of increment operations. What are we going to do? We are going to, as I have told you, that we will be talking about in terms of dollars, not the actual cost unit. So an amortized cost of $2 is set to a bit 1. So with every bit which is equals to 1, we are setting a cost of $2. This actually means when a bit is set, so with every bit which is equals to 1, not with the 0 bit, but the bit which is equals to 1, we are associating a cost of $2. Now what is happening with this cost of $2? Let us see. So when a bit is set, we use $1 out of that 2 to pay for actual setting of the bit, and now what are we left with? We are left with one more dollar for that particular bit, and that has been considered as credit, and that credit we are going to place onto that particular bit. So when a bit is set, we are going to use $1 out of those $2 charged to pay for the actual setting of the bit, and we place the other dollar on the bit as credit. So at any point of time, whenever we see our whole data structure, every one bit in the binary counter is having $1 of credit on it, because it was charged for $2, one has been paid and one is left. So that $1 which is left will be considered or will be taken for resetting that particular one bit to 0. So consequently, we need not to charge anything to reset a bit to 0. We can just pay for the reset reset operation with the dollar bill which is actually already present on that particular bit. So coming to the amortized cost of increment, when we talk about with the code of this increment, the cost of resetting the bits within the while loop is paid for the dollars on the bit that are reset, and at most one bit is set. If you can see the last line of the increment operation, at most one bit is set, and therefore the amortized cost of an increment operation is at most $2, and this is what we have charged from each increment operation is $2. So one will be used when that bit is to be set, and another will be used when that bit is going to be reset. Now what is happening with number of ones in the counter? That number of ones in the counter is never going to be negative. It is not negative. You can see, if you can recall the figure of binary counter, number of ones is not negative at any point of time, and thus the amount of credit will always be non-negative or will always be positive, because what is happening, every one bit is having $1 bill with itself and it is not negative. So the total credit is also non-negative, and for n increment operations the total amortized cost will be order n, which is actually bounding the total actual cost also, and this is what we have targeted, that total amortized cost should bound the total actual cost too. This was the aim of, we can say, when we started amortized analysis. Now after this example of binary counter, let us take one more example, which is a kind of, we can say, a daily life example in order to understand this concept of amortized analysis, or we can say concept of accounting method, because this example we will be tackling with the help of accounting method. So let us try to understand the problem definition. The problem definition is about a maintenance contract. So in the starting month, let us say you buy a new car from a dealer who is going to offer me the maintenance contract in terms of some conditions. Now, what are the conditions? The condition says $50 will be charged each month other than March, June, September and December. So, that means other than the we can say third month, then 6th month, then 9th month and the 12th month. The other months are being charged $50, and what is being covered in this $50? It's just an oil change and the general inspection. Coming to the months of March, June, September, $100 will be charged. And what are the services given? The services will be given at that time in the month of March, June and September. Please remember, we are still left with December. This covers an oil change, a minor tune up and a general inspection. So, we are getting more services, so more charges. While in every December, that means at the end of the year, $200 will be charged, because the services becomes even more broader, and it is covering an oil change and a major tune up, not a minor tune up but a major tune up and a general inspection. So, in every December $200 will be charged. So, now coming to how are we going to perform the amortized analysis of this particular example or this particular application scenario of my maintenance contract. So, the agenda here, what are we trying to do? The agenda here is to obtain an upper bound on the cost of this maintenance contract as the function of number of months. This is very important. So, I repeat here, we need to obtain an upper bound on the cost of this maintenance contract as a function of number of months. Now, see how are we going to do it. First, we will do it by the normal worst case method of, we can say normal worst case method, or you can say asymptotic analysis, and then we try to see through this example using the glass of amortized analysis. Now, worst case method, my worst case method says we need to bound the contract cost for first n months by just taking the product of n and the maximum cost incurred in any month. So, according to the condition of maintenance, the maximum cost at any in any month is, if you can recall, is $200 in the month of December, because that includes major tune-ups and too many things. So, coming to the what this worst case method is going to do, this worst case method says we are just going to multiply the number of months by the maximum cost incurred in any month, and that maximum cost is $200. Now, this worst case method says that we are actually, what are we doing? We are actually estimating the complexity in a traditional way, which says that you just need to take the product of number of operations and the worst case complexity. So, worst case complexity here is $200, and the product of number of operations is here is the number of months. The answer here using this approach, what are we going to get is $200 multiplied by n, or 200n as an upper bound on the contract cost. Now, as far as we are talking about the term upper bound, the upper bound here of 200n is pretty correct, but the actual because the actual cost for n month is anyways not going to exceed 200n, and that is perfectly fine. But please look, here are the major months in which we are paying $50 according to the maintenance contract example, or according to the conditions. Then in some months we are also paying $100 only, but our upper bound is saying 200n. So, that means the bound is, as far as upper bound is concerned, the bound is correct, but the bound is not tight. Now why bound is correct? Because in any case actual cost for n months is not exceeding 200n. So as an upper bound, okay, we are fine with that. So if we can see in this approach in the form of let us say table, let us first consider for 8 months. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in March, which is the third month, we are having $100. Then in the month of June we are having $100 again. So the first row of the table is showing the number of the month. The second row of the table is showing the actual cost, which is the actual cost of the maintenance contract according to the conditions. Now coming to the third row. Third row says let us fix an amortized cost of let us say $75 for all the operations or for let us say for all the months. So what is happening here is actually this $75 is, we can say, overcharge for some months and it is undercharge for some months also. Now let us take the example of month 1 and 2 where the actual cost is 50 but the amortized cost is 75, while in the third month, which is the month of March, the actual cost is 100 while the amortized cost is 75. So we are going with our kind of line of understanding. We can say that we are charging some operations less and some operations are being charged more. So the operations which are being charged as less, which is, we can say, the month of March here and followed by June, and then we will also see the example of September. So in month of March the actual cost is 100 while the charge amortized cost is 75. So here is a shortage of, we can say, $25. So how these $25 will be paid? Now in order to consider this payment of $25, we need to see through the fourth row of our table. That fourth row says whatever credit is being left. So at the first month we have actual cost is 50 and amortized cost is 75. So the credit here is 25. For the second month the situation is same. Actual cost is 50 but the amortized cost is 75, and so we have 25 for 2 months, and what is accumulated credit here is 50. So now in the third month, even if we are going to pay $25 more than the amortized cost, but that 25 will be paid up from the accumulated credit, and now my accumulated credit is going down, and at the month of March, after paying $25 which is getting shorter in order to pay the actual cost, what I am left with is $25. Then fourth month we are overcharging, fifth month we are also overcharging, and thus we have accumulated the charge of a credit of $75 till fifth month. But in the month of June, now in the month of June again we need to pay 100 and the amortized cost is 75. So we are left with $75 as credit at the fifth month. So we are in a comfortable position. We will pay 25, shortage of $25 from that particular credit, and now in our credit it is $50 which is left, and then this $50 will become 100 at the end of 8th month, because in the 7th month and in the 8th month the amortized cost is more than the actual cost. The actual cost is 50 and the amortized cost is 75. So now coming to the 9th month, when we are having 100 as the credit, but the 9th month is month of September, and here also we need to pay 100 while actual cost is 100 while the amortized cost is 75. So no problem, we have $100 in the credit, 25 will be paid from there. By the 11th month we have $125 in credit. But please look at in the month of December, which is the 12th month, the charge is 200, which is the actual cost. Actual cost for month of December as per maintenance contract condition is 200, while the amortized cost, let's say we have fixed as 75. So here a very important we can say event has happened, that whole of our $125 credit has been used up in order to pay the actual cost of the contract in the month of December or in 12th month. And what are we left with in the credit? That last row of the 12th, the column labeled as 12th is showing as 0. So here we don't have any credit left. That is very important. But again, my credit is not negative here, and because negative credit is not allowed. So here we have credit as 0, which is a perfectly fine condition, which is okay, acceptable, reasonable condition. But this credit should not go in negative. That is one thing which we need to be very, very careful about. And then again, starting from the month of January, we can continue with that particular cycle. So here what have we done? The actual cost for many of the actual cost for different months is different. This is as per the maintenance contract. But what amortized cost we have fixed? We have fixed an amortized cost of $75, and that $75 is we can say a good threshold, or seems to be a reasonable threshold, because my credit is not going to be negative with in any of the months if I am fixing the amortized cost as $75. So here some months are charged more than their actual cost and other are charged less than their actual cost, and the cumulative difference is shown, which is I was talking about as credit, is shown in the fourth row, and that cumulative difference between what the operations are charged and what their actual cost is shown in the form of credit in the last row. And we have got $75 into n as an upper bound on the contract cost for n month. So here if we look for the sequence of n months, we are going to get 75 multiplied by n as compared to what we have got in our worst case analysis, which was 200n. So here we have got we can say altogether a better bound, because the 75 n bound is tighter than the bound of 200n, which was obtained using the worst case monthly costing. So whenever we have used accounting method, we are going to use it in this way. We have not computed the aggregate cost. But now one question which comes automatically into the mind, which says, is $75 an assignable amount amortized cost, or we can kind of we can say make it even lesser. So we can always experiment by performing the another accounting method, not with the $75 but with the amortized cost of $70. So here what we did was, we start by assigning an amortized cost to each of the different operation types, and then proceed to show that this assignment of amortized cost is fine. So my $75 was actually okay. But if we need to experiment with amortized cost of $70 even for n is equals to 12, we will be seeing that this $70 is going to be an invalid, because please recall the table that at the month in the month of December we were left with 0 credit. when we have taken 75 as the amortized cost. Now imagine that we are further decreasing it. So in case of further decrease, this 0 will obviously go into the negative, which is not allowed. Now coming to another amount which says $80, we can always use $80 as an upper bound on the contract cost for end month. So we will be saving some credit even in the month of December if we are using $80, but with $70 this credit will go into the negative bounds, which is actually not allowed. So here in this lecture we have seen two examples. One, the traditional example of binary counter, which is kind of having one increment operation, and we have seen how accounting method is used to analyze this increment operation in amortized way. And second, we have seen an example of maintenance contract of a particular item, and how amortized cost will be distributed for various operations which are in the form of various contract months, various operations of the maintenance during various months. So we have seen both this example, one of the maintenance contract, another one of the binary counter increment, and we have seen how accounting method is going to help us in analyzing these two cases in the sense of amortized analysis. Thank you for the patient hearing. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture.